Every half hour of international news. This is Press TV. My name is Arash Zahidi. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has expressed deep concern about the extent of damage in Gaza. During a visit to Gaza Strip, the UN chief condemned Israel's excessive use of force against the Palestinians.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen only a fraction of damage. This is shocking and alarming. This is heart-breaking scenes which I have seen. I have condemned from the outbreak of this conflict the excessive use of force by Israeli forces in Gaza. Where civilians have been killed, there has to be a thorough investigation, full explanations, and where it is required, accountability.
Ban called for an end to Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories and emphasized the need for creation of a Palestinian state. The UN chief also urged Palestinian factions to unite. The UN chief is there to assess the aftermath of the Israeli war. His convoy made a stop at the UN's Gaza headquarters that was heavily damaged by Israeli fire. Ban was due to visit 3 UN facilities, including a school where nearly 40 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli attack. Arab heads of states meeting in Kuwait have strongly condemned Israel's deadly strikes on the Gaza Strip. The first ever Arab Economic Summit in Kuwait was overshadowed by Israel's onslaught in the Gaza Strip. On the final day of the gathering, the leaders agreed on a unified statement about the Gaza offensive. Arab League chief Amr Moussa said Israel should be legally held responsible for its aggressions in the Gaza Strip. Arab leaders agreed to help rebuild Gaza and make humanitarian aid immediately available.
Israel's war in the Gaza Strip has displaced over 100,000 people. Most of the displaced are currently taking shelter in schools run by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency in Rafah. Meanwhile, over 20,000 buildings have been damaged in Israel's ground and air raids. Our correspondent in Gaza has likened Israel's war to the Nazi offensive against the Soviet Union city of Stalingrad during World War II.
You can see that the Israelis resorted to the Stalingrad style and Jenin style of destruction. They were destroying everything in their way.
Well, look who's talking. It's Ban Ki-moon, finally in Gaza, speaking to the world. Let's listen.
And I commend their leadership, their commitment.
أنا جئت لهذا المكان أيضا لقدم شكري لموظفي الأونروا وأيضا لموظفي.
And gentlemen, I have seen only a fraction of damage. This is shocking and alarming. This is heart-breaking scenes which I have seen. And I'm deeply grieved by what I have seen today.
يقول لقد رأيت القليل من الدمار في هذا المكان.
To the people of Gaza, I have this to say. I have seen only a fraction of the destruction and suffering caused to this tiny and crowded place by more than 3 weeks of heavy bombardment, shelling, and street fighting on top of months and years of economic deprivation.
أنا أقول لأهل غزة أننا لكم في خلال 3 أسابيع من القصف المتواصل وأيضا من الحصار الاقتصادي العنيف.
I will do all I can as Secretary General of the United Nations to help in time of this need.
وأنا كسكرتير عام للأونروا.
The Secretary General of the United Nations there talking about collective political failure. We on Press TV have spoken to his spokespeople before about coming to Gaza during the 18-month-long siege. At that time he had no plans of going to Gaza. This time he has gone, some critics saying he should have gone in the middle of the war and it would have saved the lives of some of those children. But he talked about the excessive force of Israel. We'll have to find out from our analysts over coming hours what he means by excessive. Does he mean that 100 children are okay dying, 200 are not okay? What is the meaning of excessive force? You can email us about your views, what that means. A lot of nuances from the former South Korean foreign minister he talked about the need for Palestinian unity and the need of Hamas to unite with the Palestinian Authority. As we were speaking to the deputy head of Hamas a few minutes earlier, we weren't able to establish whether Ban Ki-moon will even meet with Hamas figures who are, of course, democratically elected in Gaza, because the UN Secretary General, it seems, makes a point of not speaking with the democratically elected leaders of the Palestinian community, although, of course, we saw in that group shot while Ban Ki-moon was giving that press conference, John Ging of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, the UN agencies often and continuously keep in close contact with the Hamas officials, because, of course, they're giving aid and educating Palestinians there in the Gaza Strip. It's 2 years since Ban Ki-moon came anywhere near the Middle East. He was in the West Bank last time round. He said even now that the Annapolis George W. Bush Middle East plan was a genuine plan. I wonder what President-elect Obama thinks of that. Ban Ki-moon thought about Obama. He mentioned Obama. His term, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, ends in 2012. Let's see what this means for Gaza, this historic trip by the Secretary General to Gaza, run by Hamas, and he said excessive force used by Israel. You'll have to email us about what you think as to whether he was genuinely moved by the destruction wrought on Gaza that he himself must be witnessing right now. We'll return you to normal programming.